Aloha and welcome to our fermentation video. Today we're going to relate fermentation to cellular respiration. We'll describe some different products of fermentation, and then finally we'll discuss how an organism controls respiration to meet its energy needs. To begin, we're going to talk about two words up here you'll see. We have aerobic and anaerobic, and the key for this one is aerobic animals or organisms or processes use oxygen, where the anaerobic ones do not use oxygen. Now, anaerobic, we're going to talk about fermentation, and two of our products are going to be lactic acid and ethanol, versus aerobic processes here, they'll use the citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle and oxidative phosphorylation. So this is what they go through, and this is how they generate their ATP, which is their energy. We see that they both do this. Okay, so aerobic means they use oxygen. Anaerobic means there is no oxygen. So the first type of fermentation we're going to talk about is this lactic acid fermentation. In lactic acid fermentation, we're going to take this glucose molecule and it's going to go through glycolysis once again. So you'll notice that that process is consistent. As it's going through there, it's going to take NAD and form NADH, and then the byproducts, this pyruvic acid that we had before, is going to go through another chemical reaction where it takes the H off of the NADH, and we're going to end up with what we call lactic acid. And for us, we get lactic acid a lot if we're using our muscles and we're exercising a lot when oxygen gets depleted. So we're using our muscles more than we're able to breathe in the oxygen. Then a lot of times we'll have this lactic acid buildup, and that's what gives us like cramps and sore muscles and things like that. Okay, another example of fermentation is ethyl alcohol fermentation, and it goes through glycolysis, just like our other types of fermentation and cellular respiration. We start with glucose, we're going to get some ATP, we're going to convert some NAD plus to NADH, and we're going to end up with 2,3 carbon structures. In this case, it's going to be pyruvate. Now, this pyruvate is going to lose some carbon dioxides, and it's going to form acetaldehyde here. We'll then take these hydrogens back, and we will convert that into ethanol over here, or ethyl alcohol, and this is the net end result product here. Now, what happens when we're out of glucose? Because that can happen, right? The cell can run out of glucose. So then what happens to it? How does the cell get its energy? Well, they like it if they have polysaccharides, things like starches, things like glycogen, where they can then remove this glucose monomer one at a time. So then all I'm going to do is take this long string of glucoses, and I'll just break off one as I need it and use it that way. The other one are our lipids. Okay, remember when we talked about lipids, we said that those are molecules that were storing excess energy. Well, the cells are going to break the lipids into different molecules, and these different molecules will then enter into the stages of cellular respiration. So it's not going to form glucose, but it might form some of the later molecules that then can run through the cycle, and it can generate ATP that way. And the same is true with proteins, and this is one that's kind of dangerous. We don't like it when we start doing proteins because the cell's going to break it down. And remember, you're made of proteins, so it's kind of like your body is going to start breaking down itself to form these amino acids, which can then transform into molecules and once again go back into cellular respiration. So always best to have the fuel of choice, glucose. If not, the polysaccharides work. The lipids are not too bad, and as a last result, your body will start breaking down proteins and using those. Okay, so that concludes our video. As always, the lessons will go into it in a little more detail. Good luck on the lessons, and we'll see you on the next video.